I'm JD and welcome to my channel. Alright, did I fool you? Yes or no? Anyway, I'm JD, welcome to my channel. I am an amateur watchmaker. I do work on pocket watches primarily because there's plenty of watchmakers out there and not a lot of people that can restore vintage pocket watches. If you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me at jdwatchservice@gmail.com. I've got a really crappy producer, that would be me. So I don't know where my finger is supposed to go when I point at my email address. Anyway, you can get a hold of me to do watch work, and we'll talk. So today we have and don't forget to like my channel, because there's this thing called the YouTube algorithm that determines whether people actually like you or not. And then they put your videos up front if they do. If they don't like you, they trash you, and you get like 3 views. So please like my videos. I did have a comment the other day that said I was a bit silly, but I've known that my whole life, so we don't have to argue that point. So here we have a Valjoux 7750 watch movement in a watch holder specifically made for it. If you're a watch maker, you'll notice that I have it in backwards, but it didn't matter because I was just using it to place the center seconds hand into the movement. So that's the new center seconds hand. Say that 3 times fast. Center seconds hand, center seconds hand, center seconds hand. Placing that into the movement, very difficult. As well, I put a drop of medium Loctite on the pipe of the center seconds hand, and that is not this kind of pipe. So that was a very difficult maneuver. I made a video on all of that, on how to do that. And what I wasn't sure of after I was finished is if that center second hand is too high and would hit the crystal. Very hard to test that. I think it's good, but I'm not absolutely sure. And I need to make sure that it resets the center again. So, and I couldn't really test it after I installed it. Maybe I could have, but I was letting it dry. So I let it dry for a couple of days, so it should be dry by now. And that's so it doesn't fling off, because these things supposedly have a problem. They tend to take a fling when you reset it. Another thing too, when you're resetting the center seconds hand, only recenter it when it's at the 10 o'clock or the 2 o'clock position. So between 10 and 2, not at, between 10 and 2. Because if you try to reset that and it's down at the 30, it flings that center hand all the way up, and the momentum of that flinging motion could ruin your center seconds hand on your chronograph movement. So this watch was working very well until that hand flung off. I had actually stripped it down. I had repaired it, cleaned it, repaired it, put it back, reassembled it, oiled it through reassembly. I made videos on that. If you want to watch them, check out my channel. And then I put the center second hand on, and the hand flew off the pipe, and I had to basically buy a new one. So this is a new center seconds hand that I've pressed onto this watch movement, and I made a video on how to press on the center seconds hand. So this is for Bill. Have a look. I can see you in a week. I've got the rotor down there as well, and I've got the case ring. So I'm going to be recasing this watch right now. So again, if you want to get a hold of me, I'm JD. Email me at jdwatchservice@gmail.com, and we can have a chat. I do watches. You got to watch the way you say that. There's no comma in the middle. I do watches that come from the U.S. It's a little trickier with the U.S., and I will typically do a watch for someone that has had the pocket watch in their family for 100 years. It was their great-grandfather's watch, and he was at the OK Corral. He was the guy on the left. So if he's the dude on the OK Corral and the guy on the left, and he went, "Go ahead, make my day. This is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful gun ever made. Blow your head clean off. Do you feel lucky, punk? Do you?" Anyway, bad impression. So there you go. Let's get at it. Alrighty then, before we get at it, I have got on camera the San Martin Blackberry 58. Blackberry? That doesn't sound right. Black Bay 58. San Martin Black Bay 58 with a PT 5000 movement in it, beating at 28.8. Really nice looking watch. I'll rotate it here without trying to screw up the video here. So this is it. I bought this a while back. It's around $400. It's got the 120 click bezel. Oh, that's nice. It feels so good. 120 click bezel, and it is obviously a stainless steel, your typical watch stainless steel. A very beautiful face on this thing. I like the red marking for the 200 meters on the dive watch. It's got a screw down crown. It's got the, this is supposed to be the San Martin crown label. I think it is the San Martin. I think they have other ones with that little San Martin symbol that you're seeing right there. So, and it's got a very beautiful crystal, as you can see. And see that blue haze? I think it's been a conditioned crystal. So non-reflective conditioning on that sapphire crystal. And what I really like about this, strangely enough, I love those rivets. So the rivet look on this, so these are screw down links, right? Or screw in links. And as you can see, when you get down to the end here, right? And the links are screwed in, as you can see. So you've got to unscrew them from both sides, which is a bit of a pain, but once you get it done, it's really cool. So anyway, so there you go. So, and it is a solid bracelet on the end. So look at that, solid stainless steel milled bracelet, not a pressed bracelet. So it's a bit dirty right now, but what a gorgeous watch. So that's the strap alone would run you about 120 bucks. And it's got the links here are solid, so you don't have that butterfly clip on the end. They're solid end links, which is really nice. And you've got your typical Tudor screwed in back, case back, right? Which is trying to emulate, I believe. So it's paying homage to the Tudor watch, I think. So this is the equivalent of a $4,000 watch, and it looks just excellent on your wrist. And I love, listen to that. That's gold, Jerry, gold. So there we go. That's it there. So beautiful watch. So people have asked me in the past, have you done a watch check? There's my watch check. Make sure that's centered. Make sure it's aligned here. One more tick maybe. Yeah, look at that alignment. That is perfect alignment. Excellent alignment. The sapphire crystal, the reflection, the grip on this, excellent. So this is an excellent watch. You get it on AliExpress. They have put San Martin, their logo, on the strap in the back here. So you've got that. You've got the double strap, like that, to open it up. It takes no effort at all. And they're sprung, as you can see. I press that. Both sides are sprung. I love sound effects. So, and apologize for my long thumbnail because I use that actually to open pocket watch backs. So I should trim that down this week, though it's getting a bit disgusting looking. So, but there you go. So anyway, that's my watch check of what I'm wearing today. So let's get casing that other watch right now. So this movement was under a dish to keep all dust off the watch, but I will take a blower and just slightly blow on the watch before I case it. So, and I look at the case itself. I did a lot of work on this case to get rid of scratches, so it looks pretty good. There's still a few little leftover scratches on this case. And here's the watch. I put some Rodico on the end here because I wanted I didn't want the end. I never remember the name of these things. Anyway, the jobby doohickeys on the end, I didn't want it falling out. So I'll think of it in a second. I can never remember the name of those things. Anyway, there it is there, and I didn't want it coming out. There it is, moving. So a good thing to do, just take some Rodico, put it on the end, you're good to go. So it keeps that in place so you're not hunting for stuff. So casing this, you have the ring here, right? So that ring goes on top, and I believe that ring goes on after you've put the movement in. I don't believe that the movement goes in, then you put the ring on after. So we'll I'll have a look and see. I think I got some photos just to make sure. Anyway, I don't do a lot of these watches, so I'm gonna have to get some gloves on here and continue. So let me get the rotor out of the way, and the screw is sitting on the rotor. So I remember I made a video a little while back where I was reassembling something, and the screw, I think it was a Rolex, and the screw was sitting on my Bergeron, what is it, 5395 pad. So there's my stem and crown and stem all ready to go. And there's the movement. So I want to make sure I don't put any fingerprints on the movement of the case. So let me go get some gloves on, okay? So my daughter called me last night and said, Dad, she's a high school teacher, and she said, Dad, what's the name of those two dogs on Bugs Bunny? I'm like, why are you asking me that question? I was like, it's Chester and Spike. And and I said, why are you asking that? She goes, well, I told my kids they got to watch a Bugs Bunny thing with Chester and Spike, right? So it's, hey Chester, do you know where is it a cat? Do you know where is it a cat? I think that's wrong. Hey Chester, you want to go chase a cat? Want to go chase a cat? Does you know where is it a cat? Yeah, I know where is it a cat. I know where is it a cat. Anyway, that's the memory of my Bugs Bunny, Chester, and Spike guys. And I also do Sylvester the Cat. I'm going to do it anyway because it's an embarrassing thing to do as a watchmaker, but what the hell, eh? What the hell? So here's the song if you recall it, if you're old enough. And I get a lot of old dudes watching my channel, so this should be good for you. So it's Sylvester the Cat singing Charleston. There you go. Charleston, Charleston, down in Carolina, thumb dance, thumb prance, thumb say, there's nothing finer than a Charleston, Charleston. Oh, how you can shuffle. Every step you do leads to something new. Let me tell you, there's a lot to do. Squawk dance, box dance. And at that point, he saw the two dogs and started going like that. Anyway, loved Bugs Bunny as a kid, and it stuck into my brain. So one of the Bugs Bunny episodes, Bugs Bunny was playing cards with a thief that stole his big chunk of gold, and he put it on a donkey, right? And so the donkey, he basically unfolded this bank, and then Bugs gave him the chunk of gold he found because he went, I'm rich, I'm fabulously wealthy. Gave him the chunk of gold. Then the guy put the gold on the donkey, jumped on top of the gold, and then rode away going, mwah, mwah. And he met him later because the guy started his casino. And he said, you want to play a little game of cards? And then Bugs said, yeah, sure, Doc. And he said, how do you play? And he goes, well, whoever has the biggest hand wins. And then Bugs Bunny got his glove out and he did this. And it pissed the guy off because he ended up with a bigger hand. Anyway, I don't know why I told you those stories, but I have my watchmaking gloves that I have to put on right now. So I was thinking every time I put these on, I inflate them because they come off inside out, right? Or wrong side in, or whatever you want to call it, right? So every time I do that, I have to do my Bugs Bunny, whoever has the biggest hand wins routine. So there you go. There's your entertainment for the morning or the day. It's morning for me right now, I think. It's almost lunch. So we're going to get at this thing. So I'm going to go full camera right now, and I'm going to lower my seat so I can do some detailed work. There we go. I apologize for the silliness, whoever was commenting on my silliness from before. So the first thing I'm going to do is blow out the crystal on the inside. I know there's nothing in there because I've had this under wrap, but you can see how nice and shiny that is. So this has been through the buffing. So it's been incredibly buffed. I've already oiled all this before, so it's ready to be cased. So the only thing I can't remember here is if it goes this way or the other way. So I think it probably goes in like this, right, before you case it down, right? So, but you can flip it down on top of the watch, put the movement in place, and then put the ring in after. I think that is the way it needs to go in. So the first thing I need to do is remove this movement from the holder. All right, so I'm very carefully going to tip this over and remove this from the holder, like that. And you notice it doesn't have the rotor on it right now because you put the rotor in at the end. You wait till it's cased and then you put the rotor in. So I'm being very, very careful right now. I've got a couple of screws here that I need to get out of the way. So these are the casing screws here. So I got this one here, and I'm just going to move that off to the side. And I've got a couple of tabs that are also part of this whole ordeal. And I move those out of the way as well so I don't lose them. And then, much to your belief or dismay, I gotta turn the volume down on this thing because I need to talk with my golf voice, but the thing is spiking at red. Red, I tell you. So, just gonna blow this off a bit too, and I don't think there's an issue right now. So this is upside down, right? So what I want to do is align this properly. So no need to lift it up. Just take the actual movement holder, the Bergeron 5395. So this is a gel-filled pad, Nothing in watchmaking is cheap, by the way. So my praying here is that all this stuff is going to fit fine, which is, you know, there's no problem at all. So just lower that on top like this. And I've got to take it at an angle because the pushers are on the other side. So there we go. That's lowered on top. And then I take the whole thing like this and then move the whole thing upside down like that. So just do that and you dump it. So there we go. So now the movement is now in there. Now I can be a really good guy and put it back up here, right? So it's nicely cushioned. And now I've got to take the ring, this it's not a chapter ring, it's kind of a retaining ring, right? And I've got my, so these glasses, every time I've shown people these glasses, this is an airy loop I've got. It's called an airy loop. So, and this just squeezes right around your glass lens and aligns up perfectly here. So, and this lens here on the bottom is a ×3 lens, and the lens up top is a 1.5 lens for reading, computers and or reading. And so this is my $700 pair of glasses, and on top I've got a ×5 airy loop on there. I believe it's a ×5, pretty sure. And I bought a large or extra large, I think the extra large, to put it on my glasses. So that's how that works. So now I've got to go down here and just make sure everything is in place here very carefully, so I don't end up having a disaster of some sort. And I don't need to re-oil any of this. And I'm just going to move the, yeah, I think that we're good there. So now I just take the ring here, and I want to lower the ring onto the movement. So never sure whether to use my airy loop or not, but you can see the complexity of this particular movement, right? It is not a simple movement. So I had taken this movement completely apart and then reassembled it, and everything was good. So I want to do this now. The next step for this job is to put back these here, right? So I'm going to take my gloves off for this because I need to have tactile on this hand specifically, because I'm going to use this on my screwdrivers, So I'm taking this glove off, and I'll have to Bugs Bunny that glove later on again. That's a new term, by the way, in case you're just curious. It's like Donald Trump. He's always inventing words, eh? So I'm Bugs Bunnying the glove, and now you know where that comes from. So now these little clips have to go back in place here, and I got to make sure that I don't lose them inside the movement, or you know, because it's very possible that you put the clip in and the screw, and all of a sudden the thing finds its way somewhere else, right? And that just pisses you off. So I don't want to lose them in the movement. I'm going to turn, I've got a light on my camera here, and I'm going to turn that on. 1, 2, there we go. Buckle my shoe. It's going to give me a little bit more. I'm going to move that in a bit so you guys can see what the heck is going on. And just twist it around like that, and then up like that. I'm just hoping that is not in the way. It's just a bit in the way. And move that back a bit, and then angle it like that. There we go. So thanks for paying attention. So turn this off and start it again. And we're off to the races. So there we go. Now I'm going to very carefully take these clips and put them back. I don't think there's a front and back to these clips, but I'm going to have a look at it and make sure it's good in both positions. Let me have a look. There we go. Yeah, there is actually, there is actually an indent on this clip. So the clip here on this side has got a little bit of a recess for the screw. So I want to make sure that that recess is facing upward so the screw settles down nicely into that clip. So I'm going to lower that in there. Let me see if I can grab the clip from the inside and lower it this way. My goodness. I had 2 coffees this morning, so I think my hands are a little shaky. That's what coffee will do to you. So I'll grab the head, try to grab the head of this one here and then lower it in. And yeah, I got that coffee this morning. I should have had no coffees, because this kind of stuff, if you have any vibration in your hands at all, it's magnified at the end of your tweezers. So that's what happens. So I don't want to drop anything today. All right, that's not too bad. Now I'm going to get a screwdriver here and hopefully be able to screw this down. I may have to hold my breath while I'm doing this. I definitely can't sing that Bugs Bunny song while I'm doing this because that'll throw me off. All right, that's one in. Now the other one, I want to turn my watch around to do the other one because I do not want to have to reach over the top of my watch to access that particular hole. So turn the watch around when you're putting that clip in. And again, I'll check the front and back to see if I've got what recess I have on this clip. So I have a look at the clip and I say, okay, that's the wrong way because the recess is on the other side. So it's meant to receive the screw. So you have a quick look at that and see if that focuses. And then you can see how that's meant to receive the screw, right? There we go. So now I just want to place that into the ring, the movement ring. And I can see that there's a little tiny fleck of something on there. So I get my Rodico out. Again, keep my hands away from the movement so things don't drop in, but I just want to touch it with Rodico because I saw something there. So I'm just very carefully lower this down like that and then grab the other screw. So I grab the screw by the base like this and then I turn it, put it down on the mat. I grab the head of the screw and you can still sort of see it in the background there like that, and then I use the mat to actually straighten the screw out. And it may drop off in a second here, but because I know I didn't get a good enough grip on it. The other challenge here is when you're making videos, you're live. I'm live, Jerry. When you're live making videos, you're obviously not concentrating as much as you could if you weren't live. So if I was working on a watch, I think when I was working on the assembly or disassembly of this particular movement from before, I turned off the audio so I could concentrate. So let me just steady my hand here. Drop that screw into place. And then I want to hold my breath and then. So if you've ever been part of a rifle team and you've had to shoot a rifle, I'm tightening that down. What you do is you hold your breath. I should have actually not tightened that until I put this in here. So I may loosen that up again because I want them to be aligned perfectly. So I'm just going to loosen this up until I put the crown, stem and crown in. And I know they're in place. Let me just loosen that up like that. And then I have to press on the little button, a very small button here to put that stem in. So you go only so far until I press that button down. And then it goes the rest of the way. Come on, get in there. All right, it's acting up. So I think I need to, I'm pressing it down, but it's on the spongy thing, so it's causing me spongy issues. So you got to press that button down. Don't be a pain in the buttinsky. So there it is there. Just rattled it around a bit because I know, there we go. Now it's in place. Now I got to see if I pull that out. Is it working? The question is yes. The answer is yes. So I'm going to wind it up because these watch movements will wind. So let me line that up and see if the balance will turn. Come on, balance, you know your job. It was reluctant first, but now it's firing away. There we go. So that's wound up. And now I'm going to tighten the, I know it's in there nicely, so I'm going to tighten the holder here, or the ring up. The retaining ring and the clips here. I'm going to get a bigger screwdriver because this screwdriver is just a bit too small for the screws. I tighten that up nicely. And again, move that around so you don't have to reach over to the watch to tighten it. So let me just do this again. That's nice and tight. Now the big question I have here is, before I put the rotor on, right, does this work? So I'm going to press this button and pray here. Okay, here we go. And there is the hand going around. I'm going to let that go all the way around until it hits 10 o'clock, and then I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to reset it and see what happens. I'm praying here because this was extremely painful, by the way. So there's a lot of praying going on here. So come on. Don't screw up on me, man. Do not screw up on me. Come on, you can do it. I'll let it go by once so I can see that the subdial click over one time. I'm holding my breath because even though you do this, you're really never sure if it's going to work perfectly until you actually make it work perfectly, right? So you have to make sure the hands aren't interfering with each other and all kinds of stuff. So here we go. Come on around. And I'm watching that subdial. Oh, and there it clicked. Perfect. Now I stop it. And I press the reset. And it resets. Excellent. So it worked. Excellent. There you go, Bill. It's working. So now I can turn it around. And I'm going to leave it on the mat here so I can get some grip. But it worked perfectly. The hand didn't fling off. I don't think it'll ever fling off again because there is a little bit of adhesive there. So I want to grab the rotor now and put the rotor on. All right, so there's the rotor. Let me grab the rotor. I am a little shaky this morning because I had those 2 big coffees, right? But not advisable. So I just want to take the rotor and just put it on, and it'll find, I believe it's going to find home, but I'm going to position the watch this way so it's not kind of in the way when I put the rotor on, like that. So there we go. So let me just put that rotor down here and see if it finds home. There it is. So it's found home. And there's the world's smallest rotor screw here. I may want to put a little tiny bit of Loctite on the end of this rotor screw too. Like just a dab, because it could come off, and I don't want it to come off. So here we got Loctite Thread Lock Blue removable. So I'm going to use that. And I've got a needle. So I'm going to put a big blob on the mat here. And I've got a needle, a very, very fine needle here. I'm going to drive that into Rodico so I know that it's relatively clean on the end. And all I want to do is touch that, right, with the Loctite. So I don't want to get much more than just a little tiny touch on there. I think this thing is now magnetic. Look at that. You just can't win, eh? Everything becomes magnetic. So I did touch it. So the Loctite, there's a little tiny bit of Loctite on the thread. So let me just move this out of the way, right? And then get this the heck away from that movement before it decides to jump inside the movement and cause me all kinds of hell. I'm going to have to demagnetize this now. I am not sure how things get so magnetized in my room here. I wanted to say I'm absolutely not sure. Maybe I'm maybe I have polarity. I have built-in polarity, and that's which causes this. So I'm going to drop this screw down here. That. And I've got my screwdriver out, and I'm just going to screw that down, okay? So you can watch me doing this. Let me move this into view a bit. There we go. And let me get down here, down and dirty. Before you screw it, it's in your hands, right? Again, I apologize for my long fingernails. I do play guitar and some classical guitar, so I have to keep these 3 fingernails long for that. So I start by rolling the screwdriver away, and that way I've got enough real estate to roll it back this way when I'm tightening something. If you start like this and you run out of real estate, and you can't really tighten it. So I typically go back first, find the slot with my screwdriver, and then make sure you don't put too much pressure down on that screwdriver. So there we go. And you don't want to put too much pressure down on the rotor as well, where you're screwing that in. If you snap that screw off, you are screwed. Pardon my pun. So there we go. So I got a little stick here. And what I'm doing now is I'm watching the gears of this movement to make sure that the I'm actually looking right here. So I'm going to get really close for you so you can see that. So that's another Bugs Bunny term, eh? Give me a close-up. Give me a close-up. Is that a close-up? You call that a close-up? Anyway, so if you look at the gears as I move the rotor, you can see right there, see that gear moving, right? So that is telling me now that you can kind of see that gear. It's telling me now that as the rotor spins around, it will wind that watch. And over here you see another gear right there. And that gear as well is telling me that when that rotor spins, it's going to wind the watch. And as I fling it around nicely, you can see how freely that spins. I believe it only winds it in this direction and not in both directions like a Seiko might. So this is a Tagur, Swiss-made Tagur. It says caliber 16. So it's a beautiful old movement. So there. So it's put together now. So I already replaced the gasket here last time and put this together when that thing flung, okay? So I don't need to do any work on the gasket. This is all under a case too, so I just have to put this down like this now and then tighten that up. So let me get my other glove out here, and I'm going to Bugs Bunny my glove again. You'll hear the noise and wonder, what is he doing? So let me just straighten that up. There we go. Now I'm trying to get, I want to get 50,000 views on this video. So I want you to share this video with everybody you can. Tell people this JD guy is amazing what he does, okay? He does impressions and he fixes watches the exact same time. So, which is amazing. And this is for you, Bill, again. So I keep telling you how much how much work I did, but actually, you know, you're a cool dude and I really appreciate you being a friend. So that is actually exactly why I did this. It's nothing to do with anything else. So this was a watch service I did for Bill, and I did it. What do they call it? Oh, gratis is the term. So I'm going to tighten that up then with a watch tightening device. So let's get that out. Actually, I'm going to use the ball to tighten this watch up because you can use there's a ball. Let me grab the ball. So this is the ball. Let me just zoom out a bit. All right, so now I've got the watch here and I've got the ball. So this is actually used by watchmakers to remove case backs and to tighten watches. So you just take the ball like that, you squeeze it a bit, then you apply some pressure, and then you turn the case back like that. And that will tighten that case back enough, no problem at all. So, and this watch, it had problems with the thread on the crown. So when I asked Bill, do you want me to try to fix and change that crown? He goes, don't worry about it. I never take this thing swimming anyway. So don't worry about it. So there we go. Now that's back together. And now I just have to flip this in. I took the Rodico off the back of that. So I should be able to, usually I just use my fingernail to put this in, but I'm not sure if that'll work with a glove on. And I do talk a lot, don't I? So you just do that. And then take your thumbnail on the top of it. And of course I can't see my thumbnail. This is not helping. So I got it in there, and then you can just slide it into position like that. And then there we go, it's locked. And this is a solid clasp. It's a machine clasp. And you can snap it down and press the button. I don't think it makes much of a difference. So there it is. That thing was scratched all the heck. So I got rid of a lot of those scratches on it. And there's the watch turning away. So there's the second hand counting away. So there we go. I'd already regulated this watch, so it should be perfectly regulated, so there should be no issue at all. I'm going to press this button again and see if I can bring it to somewhere and then snap it back. So I'm going to bring it to 10 after and then put it back and pray. Every time I do this, I'm like, okay, there we go. Look at that. Friggin' snap back perfectly. There you go. So one thing that's bugging me about this, but Bill won't mind probably, is that it's not like that top it's not 100% aligned with center. It's very, very close, but it's bugging the crap out of me, but there's nothing I can do about that, Bill. So just turn your head a bit when you're looking at it. So anyway, so it wouldn't bug, 99% of the people wouldn't be bothered by that, but things like that bug me. So there you go. You can wind this watch, by the way, by hand. It's made for that. So it's self-winding like that. And then you can set the time. Let's see if, let's pray that this works. That's the date. So I can change the date on this thing. Today is the 11th, I believe. So I'll change this to the 11th. Hopefully it won't flip on me beforehand. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me see. What am I doing here? 4, 5. I'm slipping. It doesn't like 5. There's probably something with this dial where it doesn't like to go past 5. I remember seeing that before with this watch. There it goes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I should turn the light off on this camera because I don't really need the light. There's 11, right? And let me see if I can change the time on it. Pull that out again. And the time right now is 11:54. So I'll just move that over to 11:54. Let me see, 9, 10, there's 11 and 54. Let me check my other watch here. It's 11:55 on my other watch. So we'll just put it right there. And then push that in. And then as you can see, the second hand is ticking away. There we go. So that's it. So this is a Valjoux 7750 done. And I did the redid that second center hand, so that's in pretty good condition. Again, a little pissed off that it's not 100% center aligned, but when I press that down, it twisted just slightly. And I don't know if there's anything you can do about that, but there you go. And let me move this to center, just so everything is aligned. There we go. That's it. So thanks for watching my video. And please get people to like and share the video if you like my videos. And thanks for watching once again, and I'll catch you later.